So these are separate technically. They're connected by some kind of cable or something. But if I'm going to hold this up, but the problem is it's all sticky on the back. Now I'm wondering if I could stick a, put a, like a sticky note on the back of this, and just, if it's exactly the same size as this, like just a piece of paper that's exactly the same size as this square. My experience, look at that, it's already gone. I got cell number 2 loose. Going pretty decent so far.
What are you doing here today, Cliff?
I am trying to remove the battery from my MacBook Pro. As you can see, it's very swollen. In fact, these batteries were so swollen And this is what Apple does, apparently. They put batteries in their computers that once they're done with their life, they start to swell. The case starts to expand, and the whole bottom of your laptop starts to swell up. And the bottom of your laptop's actually circular, so you'll put your laptop on a table and it'll wobble. And so this is the bottom of the laptop, if you can imagine. It's flipped over. These batteries are very swollen. And in order to replace the batteries, the kit that they sell, they tell you to take out this fan, and this fan, and this speaker, and this speaker, and the I/O boards, and the I/O boards, and the plugs, and the things, and you have to take the whole motherboard out. I found a shortcut.
Which seems like a very scary prospect.
It is scary, and it was scary for me. But luckily, at the last moment, I found a shortcut video. I said you can actually take the batteries out before you do all that. So that's what I'm doing. It's very tedious and carefully. I'm placing these cards underneath each battery compartment. The batteries are glued in this laptop, so basically there's adhesive under here, and they're glued into the case. And ultimately, whether you take these out or not, you have to do this part. This is how you do it. So I'm putting, you put these plastic cards underneath here, and then you use a little adhesive remover. And you take the adhesive remover, and you put it right there on the edge, underneath the battery, very carefully.
They're like some kind of fancy doctor with their gloves and their syringe.
Yeah.
So you squirt some of that?
Well, and the other thing about these batteries is you want to be really, really, really careful because they can explode and catch fire.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah. So.
Thus the safety goggles.
Now look, see the card slipping under there?
Mm-hmm.
It's releasing that battery from the case. I have to listen. See it moving? Just about there. And we're underneath that one. Right there. So, that's the worst part of it. Right there, it's just getting underneath that dude. There we go. Look at that. So now he's loose. I'll take a little sticky note and I'll fold it up to about the size of that battery. And this way it doesn't re-adhere itself to the case. Okay. And now that I've got that one done, I can hold this one up and I can use the same spot to get underneath the next battery. These are the hardest, from what I have heard, because there's a little wall around them, conveniently located, and also they're on top of the trackpad, so you just want to be really, really careful. That's going to probably take me the longest. I'm just going to
take your time and
just going to absolutely take my
it.
time and just be real cautious with it. So,
well, you're doing real good so far.
thank you very much.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So I'll keep on working here.
Okay. So we have an update on the video. Progress being made. Cliff is removing the adhesive, and as you can see, he successfully removed all of the batteries. All the gel packs. That's a little tricky humor for you.
A little tricky humor. Not tricky. A little tricky, but also tricky.
So has it been as stressful as you thought it would be?
Well, certainly. Well, it's been a challenge, and I'll be glad when it's done.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and it's a neat project. The fact that these laptops are so expensive, I really didn't think I was going to go through with it.
Right. But who convinced you and told you were awesome and that you could do it?
Well, you did. I'll feel comfortable when I turn my computer on and it works, obviously, but...
Oh, Cliff showed me something interesting a moment ago. Off topic, but that's his hard drive.
That right there is the hard drive. That little
skinny
that
sliver.
chip right there. Little bitty, you can see how big it is in comparison. It's very tiny.
I remember when hard drives were like this. I guess mine still is technically.
Some still are. Yeah, solid state.
So what you're doing now is kind of removing that adhesive and just doing general cleanup. Dust and debris.
Yes, I will. I'm glad that I've opened it up. I mean, this is the first time I've had this machine open, I believe, but you can see on these fans, look how much dust is in that fan. It's actually a wonder that it's actually moving any air around when you look at it. And then if you peel this back, you'll notice you can just see all of the I pulled a bunch of dust out of there already. In fact, this is my dust I pulled out of there already. Look at all that dust there. And you can see dust there, and it just gets sucked in, and it doesn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And
So it just gets stuck in all the nooks and crannies.
yeah, it needs to be blown out. So that'll be, I gotta clean up the rest of this sticky adhesive on here. I'll probably get a little cotton swab or something and just clean this up. And when I put the new battery in here, I'm thinking about going without adhesive.
Going adhesive-free.
Maybe just see if it'll be okay without adhesive.
Certainly will be less of a pain if you ever have to replace the battery in the future.
It sure will. I'll tell you, this is, I mean, it's like something a cheap company would do. Apple is not a cheap company. And Apple, with the resources that they have and the R&D, they ought to be able to come up with a way to have a laptop that's this thin, this high tech, and have a battery that you can take out as a user. This is completely uncalled for, in my opinion. No matter what Johnny Ive says, I think there's a better way to do it. And still use aluminium for your materials.
Alright, well, I'll join you again when you're at your next stage of progress.
Thank you very much. Thank you for filming it.
Absolutely. It's worthy of documentation.
Yeah. did all this.
So you did it all back up and running.
I'm back up and running. Everything's working. Trackpad.
Thank you, OWC.
Sound is working. That's right.
Thank you, Cliff.
Well,
Once the battery is charged.
that's my instructional video I did. Of course, I didn't use half the stuff in that instructional video. I used the shortcut version found on YouTube, but I'm thankful that I found that version too. It's taken me a lot longer.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Me too.
We were saying earlier, you gotta do what you gotta do to protect those investments.
That's right.
Gotta keep Mutsy Web up and running.
That's right. And sometimes you get a little cheap in the process and you want to do all the work yourself.
And you realize that you can do the work yourself.
You can.
You saved
certainly
us,
can.
what, $300? It was $299.
Depending on where you go. Yeah, well, depending on where you go, yeah.
So,
Several hundred.
yeah.
But you gotta have, for that job, I recommend anybody that does that, you gotta have, like, surgeon's hands. I mean, it's tedious.
Steady hands and much knowledge.
Steady hand.
Steady hand.
Steady hand.
#1 surgeon.
#1 surgeon.
That's an Office reference for you non-nerds. Okay, well, that's it for now. Congratulations.
Thank you.